Hello, carrying me through. Hopefully this live goes better than the last. Because the last one stunk, y'all. It stunk. I hope same. I need to check something real quick. I'll be right back. Maybe that's what I'm hearing. I heard some real crazy hammering. And wasn't sure where it was coming from. So I wanted to check. I'm going to turn off my volume. Think I need it. Okay. Guys, super excited. We are getting closer and closer to July. I don't know if my subscribers have seen it yet or not. We are 30 away from moving up to, we're just 30 away from 260. Is that right? No. I lied. We are just a few. We're 30 away from 1,600 subscribers. We have 49.8 thousand views, 334 334.3 watch time hours. And y'all, we are at we are at 1,500. Oh wait, no. We're at 2,663 public watch time hours, and 20,000 public short views. So keep up the good work. Keep watching those videos. Keep watching those shorts. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I guess if you're late, you're late. Okay? So let's get into it. Oh, wait, I thought I had that open already. I lied to myself. If you missed our earlier live, we talked about the Red Sea. Today, or tonight, we are talking about the Dead Sea. Red, dead, sea, not sea. When is a sea not a sea? When it's a lake. That's right. The Dead Sea is not a sea. It is actually a landlocked lake that sits between Israel and Jordan. Now you might be asking, where does the Dead Sea get its water? Easy. It gets its water from the Jordan River. The problem is, at least 2 other countries are diverting water from the Jordan River for their usage. What that means is that the Dead Sea is not getting the water that it used to get. Now, another thing that sets this water, this lake, apart from any other lake is that it gets its water from it gets its water from the Jordan River, but that's not what makes it unique. What makes it unique is that it sits at the lowest elevation on Earth. Yeah, it is getting smaller, making it the lowest lake on the planet and also the lowest body of water on the planet that we know about. Now, this lake's level has been dropping for years. It covers it covers an area of 233.7 square miles. Its elevation is negative 1,410 feet. It is 31 miles long. Its shoreline is 83 point, and I always mess these up. Part of this is my problem with numbers. 83.89. I know that's not how you read that. Miles. So that's the shoreline right there. That's how much they have. And at its deepest, it is 304 meters deep or 997 feet deep. Now, once water gets into this lake, it is not going anywhere other than up. So water can evaporate out of the lake, but it cannot. There's no outlet. There are deposits underneath the water that can be won. It's those deposits that are underneath the water are between 1 to 4 miles thick. I'm not sure. The Dead Sea sits in a desert, and it gets around 2.5 inches of water, that is precipitation, a year. Now, when it comes to salinity, the lake is around 300 parts per thousand. So to put it in another way, the Dead Sea is known for its extremely high salt concentration, with a salinity of approximately 34%. Now, this is about 9.7 times saltier than the world's oceans. Or in simpler terms, for every liter of water in the Dead Sea, there are approximately 340 grams of salt. Now, if you want to put that into another comparison, the Dead Sea has a salinity of around 34%. The Great Salt Lake has a salinity between 5 to 27%, and Earth's oceans have an average salinity of around 3.5%. So, that tells you a little bit about that lake. But there is more, a little bit more. It is drying up. It is drying up. And it is drying up at the rate of 3 feet per year. When it comes to life in the lake, there isn't much. There is bacteria, but there isn't necessarily life that you would recognize. Any fish that do manage to make it into this lake dies. If you know anything about the Great Salt Lake in Utah, it has brine shrimp that live in it. The Dead Sea doesn't even have brine shrimp. I have heard of reports of flamingos that may be nesting on the lake, but that's about it. There are some plants that are resistant to salt. We call those halophytes or salt-loving plants. These plants are adapted to grow in salty water or in alkaline soil. But apart from that, there isn't anything else. It is, in every shape, a dead lake, a dead sea. But again, it's not a sea, it is a lake. I hope you are now a little bit wiser when it comes to the Great Salt, or the Dead Sea. it would be an amazing thing to see. I wonder when you drop down to that level if your ears pop. Interesting fact, at one time the Dead Sea didn't exist in the shape that you would see it now. But in fact, the whole region would have been covered up by the Mediterranean Sea, probably including Israel. And Syria, I believe. So a lot of land was covered up. Now we're talking back in the Cretaceous, all right, let me rephrase that. Back in the Jurassic and in the Cretaceous, it was ocean. So that is that. Now hopefully we get some more people, because I have work to do tonight. I have to they do harvest salt from the Dead Sea, but I don't know if they actually have salt mines. I mean, it's easy enough to look up, right? There is a company called the Dead Sea Works, and they produce and supply potash. So they extract minerals from evaporation ponds, including potash, magnesium chloride, industrial salts, and other minerals. Yep. They actually have a mount. It's called Mount Sedum, Sedom. It is a large salt mountain comprised of salt embedded with other sedimentary rocks. It rises 220 meters above the Dead Sea. So it's kind of crazy. And that Dead Sea Works that I mentioned was established in 1929. And Mount Sedum, if I'm pronouncing that right, also has the world's longest salt caves. As the Dead Sea dries up, there's also sinkholes that develop. These are forming as the groundwater dissolves, and the salt layers beneath that surface then are dissolved, and they go poof and collapse. So yeah, that is what we know. And yes, if you're wondering, you can float in the Dead Sea. It is believed that Sodom and Gomorrah were located somewhere on its shores, but we don't know exactly where. Hi, how are you, Mir Presents? And it is also, oh, happy birthday. It is also the deepest hypersaline lake in the world. Not that that means anything, but it is. I have done cryptids. In fact, there are lives dedicated to cryptids. Doot. Don't look at them now, but that is a link to a live all about cryptids. You're welcome. I hope it's going to be a good day. Your voice acting skills. Meyer, have I seen your... I think I've seen your Yeah, I watched your reveal of the voices video. Not yet. Yeah, I have no idea. I had no idea that's what that was. That is one thing I don't dip into. Oh, here we go. People people setting off fireworks. So same here. So I do a fair amount of writing, especially now. And I have found a really, really great website for that. It doesn't cost anything. It is completely free. I don't know. Is it? I don't know. If you do any sort of world building or writing and you need a name, this website is absolutely amazing. It'll give you a quick name. It'll give you character names, pen names, band names. It'll do baby names, first names, middle names, last names, nicknames, names for twins, rapper names, cat names, pirate names, fantasy names, from which you can do angels, dragons, gnomes, ogres, witches or wizards, aliens, elves, goblins, orcs, unicorns, yetis, centaurs, fairies, imps, pixies, vampires, zombies, demons, giants, merfolk, sea monsters, werewolves. It will do usernames, Instagram names, the names for blogs, a hero's name, villains' names, couple names, food, house, street, towns, countries, a business name, a team name, gaming name, a title, a fake name. It will help you with a plot generator. It'll help you write song lyrics, generate a letter, generate a poem. And it even has a random generator, whatever that means. And I use it a lot. Anytime that you see a first or last name in any of my stories, it has been generated on this program. So I just thought, it doesn't cost me anything. You don't have to pay for it. I don't know if but it is completely and utterly free. Now, the different searches the different things do require certain things for you to give it. Let's go through a town. Let's make up a town name. Yeah. Because all this does is give you a name. You still have to flesh out the character. You still have to flesh out. Oh, I do not use the song lyrics or the poetry for any of my writing. The song lyrics or the poetry generator, I don't use, and I'm not going to use it. Because, yes, then it would definitely not be your work. But generator is incredible. Because sometimes, like in my case, I don't want to use, I want the place to feel like it could be any town around. But I don't necessarily want to use a real city. Not that that makes sense. But with this one, I'm going to do a fictional city. We're going to do it in the United States. We're going to start it with B and end with an N. And then we're going to generate names. And some of the towns are going to be really, you're not going to be able to pronounce them. But it will give you exactly what you asked for. And then you pick it, you design it how you want it. It's not going to tell you what the people look like. But that's a tool that I use when I want a character that isn't just a first name. I do not suggest just creating names off the top of your head. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. But you can look at it, you can play with it, whatever. we have no, it is not yours. If it makes up the song lyrics or the poetry, absolutely not. Which is why I don't use it to do that. But on the other hand, if I'm writing a story and I need a poem, I don't know. I've never done that because I tend to use my own work within my own work. It's just one of the generators that thing has. And honestly, if you're going to be writing and you are a writer, I don't know why you would use that. Yeah, I said it because it's a part of this website. That's one of the generators that it has on the website. I have never used that part of it because I think it's ridiculous. I can very much so write my own stuff, and for that, I do. There's little sense in not doing that. I have the ability to do it, so I do it. Now, there are times when I might, if it's going to be like a family, I might work with it to generate a dad or a mom and then just pick the kids willy-nilly because first names are easy. Last names are not. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 more lives we have 2 more lives left for June, and that is tomorrow's, and we are doing the Swan Goose and the Orinoco Goose. Now, we're not going to be talking about domestication. We're talking about the wild Swan Goose and the Orinoco Goose. So hopefully we have people in for that live. I don't know. I do know I need to go in and do lives for the next live. Sounds like a gun. But I'm guessing it's fireworks. Yeah, That's what I like about this program. It's not always going to give you the best results. What I usually do is I'll ask for like 30 names, and then I pick 4 or 5 or 6 out of the 30, and I will roll. Sometimes I will roll a dice, and whatever number I get is the name I use. Makes it a little bit boring, I guess, but it works. July's lives are going to be a mess because there was a lot going on in July. Not that there isn't a lot going on in any month, but we have tarantulas, wolf spiders, Etasha House and Toyota Elephant Passage, jack-o'-lantern mushrooms, bird's nest fungi, tall grass prairie, pampas, maned wolves, dole, vultures of North America, Indian vultures, a Zoom call, a very special birthday chat, simple leaves, plant roots, marine iguanas, Komodo dragons, Toledo Zoo, Cerrado Savannah, shortgrass prairie, compound leaves, fruits, Elmwood Park Zoo, and that is the month of July. And in August, we have even more stuff coming at you. So with that, guys, I need to let you go so that I can get back to work. Have a wonderful weekend. If your weekend isn't already started, depending upon where you live, it might be already started. Have a good night. As my character would say, I'm not going to say it, but he would. Have a good night. Oh yeah, that's in the Bronx Zoo. I'm excited at some point to do Heart of Africa. That's going to be an amazing exhibit. Anyway, guys, be good to each other, and I will see you in the next one.